back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchange something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you and your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on. And we're back. And man, I know. Last week we had an amazing time. I thank everybody that tuned in last week, watched last week. And I thank everybody for tuning in again tonight to watch today's show. Man, when I tell you the individual that I have coming up today is going to not just shock you, but make you take a different look and perspective at life. Now, I don't know if any of you remembered. If you haven't, go back and watch previous episodes where we had a wonderful, wonderful guest multiple times by the name of Raven. And now this lovely young lady, she always talked about the other half that made her better, the other half that supported and helped her. Well, I got news for you today. We tracked down and we had to go get the other half, because this man is doing amazing things. And we had to introduce you, the world, to this amazing individual so you can see how he moves in life, not just to be a better man, a better spouse, a better father, just a better individual, not just for himself and his family members, but the community that he tries his best every day to serve. So without further ado, I'm not going to hold you up any more longer. I'm going to bring you the one, the only, Mr. Jonathan Daniels. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Thank you for this opportunity, man. And this feels good. Thank you,
man. No, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on and just get to know you, let the people know you. We had to see this other side, this other person that that had this young lady, Miss Raven, smiling so hard, raving about you. And it was like, nah, man, but the world needs to see more positive interaction, not just from men, but black men, to show that other side of the coin. Because when you look at the social media and the stuff going on in the world today, it seems like it's a bashing, a war, just a clashing of black men this, black women this. We don't like, we have to change that scenario. And after talking with Raven and now getting a chance to talk to you, we get to combine both of those to see like, this is what healthy black relationships look like. So we had to have you on. But before I even go any deeper, can you tell everybody who is Mr. Jonathan Daniels?
Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Daniels. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I also am a spiritual empowerment coach. I'm also a graphic designer, web designer, and becoming a UX designer. I have my business, which is called Enritual. It is a spiritual life coaching business that is dedicated to men. I started off with simply black men because I am one, and I saw the need for black men needing to step up and show up in ways that we've never had to do. Well, show up in ways that we have needed to do before, but just haven't had the tools to do so. And when I started diving into the research, I saw that men in general need this, and men affect other men, and we need this community. And with black men, we have our special community, and that's something that I will always have. But I also see that there's a true need with just the masculine overall. So one of the things that I do is focus on that, and my graphic design business, which is after Enritual Studios. That's, I just named it right after that because it's along the same lines. Is giving the platform for men to just be men, to look into the content that I actually create, that gives men the understanding that it's okay to be exactly who you are. Be you, but just know you got to show up. That's it. You could be exactly who you are, weird, nerdy, a job. I don't care what it is. You could be anything you want to be, but you got to show up when it's time to show up. And that's all. And understanding that aspect, that's what helped me. So I try to be the blueprint to what I preach. And Raven, that's one thing she'll my lady sets me straight. So it always helps to have a very strong woman that not only is in your corner, but one that supports you, one that believes in you, one that says, you know what, you got it. Go ahead and do whatever you got to do, but just show up. So yeah, I'm a spiritual life coach. I am a graphic designer, and I'm also a web designer, and last but not least, a social media manager. So I'm a multifaceted person when it comes to what I do. So
now I don't even know how you juggle all that. But before we even go out down that line of how you juggling all that, what was that thing? Was it growing up, your background? What was it that made you like that light bulb that snapped that said, this is what I need to do to not just help my family, but be better, whether it be graphic designs, starting Enritual, like what was that changing point? Because I know for me and many other people, we grew up and we had our mindset on a whole bunch of other stuff. And then what happened? Life happens and you change your trajectory. What was those moments like for you, whether it be growing up, school, whatever, that changed your trajectory? Say, I have to help people in this manner.
Well, it's a two-parter. So growing up, I actually grew up a Jehovah's Witness. And growing up, the things that I wanted to do went against the tide of the faith. So I wanted to grow up to be a cartoonist. I wanted to draw when I grew up. And people would always tell me that I was a youth pastor. They will always say that John, I can see you leading the youth. But these two things I never tapped into because it was things that just were not promoted within this faith. Yeah. So I thought that my life was that faith. And as I started to grow, that wasn't the case. So after I got my divorce, that's when I started to dive into what I needed. And that's how I created Enritual. We do things every day that enrich us.
Yeah.
We have rituals every day, or if you don't want to call it rituals, we have patterns that we do every day that get us into the habit of living life as we see fit. Some people have to brush their teeth every morning. Some people don't. Take a shower.
Yeah.
You know, or you have to have your morning coffee, or you have to watch the news, or you have to check your email. You have to do these things. There's something you do every day that makes you ready, that gets you ready for your day.
Okay.
So I so after I got my divorce and I was single, I thought about what can I do that's going to enrich my life. I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to teach people that it's okay to start over.
Yeah.
It's okay to simply say, you know what, this isn't for me. I deserve more. I crave more. And by doing that, that's how I created Enritual. And when it comes to graphic design, this is me living my childhood dream. I've always wanted to draw. I've always wanted to be a creator. And this way, I do that. And the process has been, at first, it was a little challenging because having to get clients in this manner and that manner. But now I'm an expert. I know exactly what I need from you and I know what I'm able to deliver to you. So the conversations are just like, yo, do you want it or do you want it? It's either one of the two, like really at this point. Because going through these steps, that just really helped me become the man that I am right now. So I am very thankful for growing up in that faith because it built characteristics in me that I would not have had, but they served me for that time. That faith served me for that time, and now I do not claim like a certain like religion or denomination, but I'm not disrespectful to anybody that has their own faith. All I say is that follow your path and follow it true. Do it just because you want to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be you and your creator, you and God, you and your higher, whatever you want to call it, is you and this other being. So if you aren't doing it for you, then you aren't serving it with your truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where I am on my journey now. And it's been an amazing ride, man.
So you said so much, and I gotta unpack it because I can't let anybody miss none of this. So let's start with Enritual first.
Okay.
Like you said, even though you're talking more the graphic design part where it's like, do you want it or do you want it?
Yeah.
And that's how life is. Do you want it? If you want it, you have to do something because nobody says, oh, no, I don't want it. Nobody doesn't want to have a good, happy life. Nobody doesn't want to find their own inner success. But you said something, and it came around with those rituals about finding out how to be better yourself. And you see already as Mama B, Barbara Smith, she said it, like life be lifing.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, those rituals that are a part of our life, like you said, for example, brushing teeth, or you don't brush your teeth. There's people out there whose rituals don't utilize the things that they need to do in order to enrich their lives. So somebody like you as a coach, when you're looking at somebody that say, do you want it or do you want it? And you see those key things that they should be doing, but isn't part of their rituals. How do you help guide them over? Because they're relearning how to be themselves. So how do you guide somebody over to help coach and enrich their lives spiritually?
You give them permission.
Ooh.
You give them permission to be exactly who they need in that space at that time. One thing that I have learned as men, the reason why men don't feel Billy, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. It's all right. Having a little technical difficulties. I still can hear you. And I'm right there with you. As Raven just said, those rituals can help align your goals if you have the right ones. And I'm glad that Raven chimed in on that because not just a few minutes ago, Jonathan was saying that she's right there, Raven. That's who we're talking about, right there beside him. God is back. And you hear this saying all the times that behind every good man is a good woman. And where we're coming from today, where we're trying to help teach people is when you rewire your thinking, rewire your beliefs. It's not just behind every good man is a good woman. Behind every good woman is a good man. Because if you're doing the leadership thing the way you're supposed to, especially as a man, as we're talking with Jonathan, when you're leading accordingly, you're gonna teach others how to lead. So not will your woman just lead from the back. Your woman knows how to walk beside you. And there'll be times where you as a man gonna be in the back and your woman has to lead. Leadership changes position. It's not just a man's thing like the man leads. And I'm glad we're talking about this because I can't wait till Jonathan gets back in this, because that's part of this man thing and that a ritual that we're talking about bettering yourself. Can you hear me now, Jonathan?
Yes. So literally my screen just went black and I started to panic. I started to sweat because I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Life be lifing. Life be lifing.
Barbara, thank you. Life be lifing. Okay. So I want to re-enter this conversation. What was the last thing that you said so I can get back on the same?
So we were talking about in rituals, the piece where we said, like you said, some people brush their teeth, some people don't, and you're teaching people how to you want it or do you want it? And it's like you have to rewire that thinking for some people that don't know those certain things that should be a part of their rituals, whether it be spiritual or daily, whatever it is. So as a life coach, how do you do certain things to help rewire people's thinking to get them to going ahead? And that's when you said, I give them permission.
You give them permission, because one thing that I've understood from myself and listening to other men, the reason why men don't feel safe to say certain things or to be a certain way is simply because they don't feel safe within themselves.
Ooh.
I cannot feel safe with you because I don't feel safe with this emotion of fear, of shame, embarrassment, anger. So because of that, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to lean into what I know, what is truly me. So providing that space, but you have to validate them in wherever they are and say, you know what? I understand this is where you are, but this is the person that I know you can be. So let's talk about that. Let's get into that. And by that way, you start, you definitely start seeing the light shine through those gates, those rustic gates. And then they start to just open up and they start to become, their cup starts to overflow, because then they see, you know what? This is exactly how I feel. And I'm proud to feel this way. And the hard part is being able to navigate these emotions while living and being with somebody else, especially with a woman that knows you almost as well as you know yourself. So that's one thing that, like, I've learned so much in these last 2 years with my relationship with Raven that I haven't learned with any other woman, or has even come close. It taught me things about myself that I didn't know were there, and showed me things that I knew were there that I didn't want to see. And because of that, just lean in, just fall in. And once you fall in, you start to catch your steps, and then you can lead. That's, for me, the word of this year is lead. Because I learned that I wasn't leading in my life. I wasn't leading my personal life. I wasn't leading in my relationship. I wasn't leading in my career, my spiritual life. I was falling back because of all this fear that I had of failing. But in truth, I had a fear of succeeding, because once you succeed, it's an expectation now. It is the normal. It's something that you got to wake up and do. You breathe it, and learning how to deal with this foreign feeling called failure. And that was my problem, and still even now, those are things that I still wrestle with. But I know now that I am way more ahead of the game than I was yesterday, or even earlier today. So
man, You once again dropping nuggets and bars, and I can't. We can't over talk it because I don't want anybody to miss it or misunderstand what you're saying. So I have to touch on some of these key points as we talk about this. Like when you said that the emotion part, the feeling part, we have so many people in the world. If we just break down society, and we're being told, hear men being told, don't express your feelings. Women are used it against you. And I sit there now. I have my own theory on this. When I hear that, and I'm just sitting there like, women are used it against you. What you're not realizing, if the person that I'm with, if I'm expressing my emotions, my feelings, and that person is constantly using it against me, even after we have a discussion, go to counseling, whatever you want to call it, and you're using it against me, you're basically showing me that you're not the person that's for me. I might not be the person that's for you. And I try to tell people all the time to use both ends of the spectrum. But people don't like to use both ends of the spectrum when it comes to their own personal life. Like if you see somebody else going through something, you'd be like, I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't do this and that. And then when it happens to you, you're like, but I love him so much. I love her so much. And it's like, no, keep the same energy. I'm big on energy. My energy is going to be even keel across the whole thing. If I feel some way about something, that's what it's going to be. And you were basically touching on that because you said Raven was showing you stuff about yourself that you didn't even know. And the stuff that you did know, you didn't want to face. And that's that even keel that I'm talking about. So I want to touch on that right quick because that's the part where I think a lot of men get hung up on.
Okay.
What do you do when you have something that you know you need to be doing, but you don't want to face it? Or when somebody exposes something that you didn't know about or you needed to learn about, how do you tell men to take on those new emotions? Because they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. We grew up a certain way, and now that we're older and we're getting taught this, we need to fix ourselves so that we can lead the other young men behind us. But how do we do that if we don't take on those things that Raven helped you understand?
So lately I've been hearing people say, not just people that are in my close circle, but people say you don't know what you don't know, right? So when it comes to the saying you can't teach a old dog new tricks, we all know that that's a lie.
Yeah.
But this person is fixated on what they know because that feels comfortable to them. And that's just their level of understanding. So for me, the best way to help people get outside of this is to have people dive into their own lives to see who is in your circle, who is your support system. Because this conversation that we're having with me and this client, this can be a life-changing conversation, true. But also, after that conversation ends, I'm not your friend. I'm your coach. I'm going to push you through the wall, not to it. I'm going to push you through that, okay? And after that, it's up to you to keep going because I'm already at the next wall. I'm already down there waiting on you.
Yep.
So how are you going to get to the next wall? Who is your circle? Closest friends. For men, do you have a circle of men? One of the things that I asked for in the season is to be more spiritually aligned with men that I know that can benefit me and that can help me grow. And I found one. Like me and this dude, just click right off the muscle. You feel me? So that for me was the most refreshing thing because that shows that I'm already in alignment. And like I understand that it doesn't always happen like that for everybody, but your circle is going to be probably the second or the third biggest part of your life.
Yep.
Because you are only as good as the company you keep. You need to hang out with people that are already there. So if you want to be a more spiritually driven man, you need to be around men that are spiritually driven. If you want to have bigger bank accounts or you want to have a better job or better financial standing in your life, hang out with men that do that. Befriend men that do that or get in different communities that do that. You have to learn to get out of your own way and get out of your shell because if all you've seen is darkness, then you can't find your light. Oof. If you only seen your darkness, you cannot find the light. You just cannot, because you aren't going to be looking for it. So you got to get out your own way. You have to move into a space. You have to move into a space that takes you out of that comfort zone. So that's, for me, that's the biggest thing, is helping men understand they need a support system. They need a support system.
You like, even Salvatore said it your best, like, who are your friends? Who you have to have that support system. And I don't think people understand that. Remember that spectrum. I swear, I talk to my wife all the time, and I think sometimes she's like, just let it go. Just let it go. She tells me this all the time. Because we're back to that spectrum. Like, everybody knows this, but when we apply it, we know you need to know your circle. Who, like Salvatore saying, who you hang with is who you are. Who's your family, your friends, your loved ones, your support system. We can sit here, we can watch sports. See a championship team. Best player on the team can't win by themselves. They have a support system. We can watch successful people in life. And if you look at it across the board, the successful people, if we say money-wise, the rich people are friends with the other rich people. And we're sitting here and we're saying this, and then we look at ourselves and be like, nah, I'm finna go hang out with my homeboy. What your homeboy doing? Nah, he ain't doing nothing, standing on the corner doing that. Nothing, just standing there, drinking sodas, drinking beers, hanging out, smoking. I'm like, we know we have to circle ourselves around greatness in order to achieve greatness, but we don't do that. We circle around ourselves around mediocre, and we wonder why our life is staying stagnant.
You know why?
Why is that?
Why? Because some people enjoy being the smartest person in the room, regardless if they're failing. I've seen that firsthand. I see this on probably almost every other day basis. When you know that you are capable for more, and you choose to just sit and just be in this space because it's comfortable, I don't want to hear nobody complaining about how life is doing them wrong. Because we are the captains of our own ship. We are the captains of our own soul. We are the true manifestors of our reality. We are the co-creators of our world. Whatever we think comes into reality, even if you don't want to think about this on a spiritual aspect. Whatever I believe I do, I don't think that I'm smart enough to pass this test, so I'm not going to study. I'm not. Or, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get this job, so I'm not going to prepare for this interview. Or I'm not even going to apply. I can't make that much money. Be a millionaire? There's no way. Yeah, you definitely not, because you're at home playing video game with your buddies. Okay? Now, you know, like when it comes to R&R, everybody needs it. You got to take that time to rest. But it's a time and place when you got to go get it. You got to go after it. And you can't ask life for permission.
No.
You ask life for forgiveness. Because once that moment's gone, I mean, life isn't going to give it back to you.
No.
And you live with regret. And, you know, so I'm not trying to get too far off on what we were talking about.
No. We going wherever this conversation goes. We want to know what's going on in your mind. This is wherever you drive this conversation is where we're going. We need to.
Well, let me pull out this book real quick. But yeah, and I'm speaking from a place of passion, because this is a life that I've lived, and this is a life that I'm fighting to get through. And I now have a circle that reminds me of, this is where you need to be. This is where you're going. I believe in you.
Yep.
This is your time. And the only voice that I have to prove wrong is me. Nobody else's. Listen to nobody else. So I think it's like this, as far as your support system, that's the most important thing. And also understanding how you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
That's the next thing. Self-talk could be the most damaging thing that you could have in your life, or it could be the most uplifting. So understanding where you are with your relationship with yourself is the most important thing, because that's who you're with all the time.
Yep.
So you can never escape from you. So
I have a question. Since this went down this lane, and I'm ready to dive deeper. So we started when we were talking about in ritual, getting to rewire yourself, looking at those little habits, those things, because we've been hardwired over time, like with little nuances that were put in our head from young adults to kids as we grew older. Now we're talking about that thing. If you want it, if you got to go get it, whatever your version of success is, what happens when since we've indoctrinated social media and all the things that have been put in our head, like you need to be the multimillionaire, you need to have 7 streams of income, you need to have multiple businesses, you need to have a big house. Think about all the things that are being wired in people's head. How do people know if their version of success is actually aligned with who they are and what they want? Because some people don't want to be multimillionaires. Some people want to go find a piece of land in the country and grow fruit and live out their days with their family, happy on the lake. But you've been wired to believe I have to have this mansion, this 4 cars, big family. Like, how do you know if your version of success is skewed because of social media and the ways of this world?
If you pull up your social media and you scroll and are continuously scrolling, that's called doom scrolling, where you're just scrolling until there's no end. And throughout the minutes, 30 minutes, hour that you scroll, you have gained nothing from what you have been doing. That's problem number 1.
Okay.
The second thing is understanding that, are you happy? What's going to make you happy, like truly happy? And not happy from the place that you need external validation to make you feel that you have reached a certain level.
Yeah.
That certain level of happiness when you can just sit with yourself and think about what you have accomplished. And the only thing you can do is smile and just give gratitude. That's where it's at. So if that is for you, that you have, for more so of the financial things as far as the materialistic aspect, if that's what makes you happy, then that's just what makes you happy.
Yep.
That's not wrong, right, or indifferent. That's just, it is what it is. But if you know, just like you said, that, you living out in the country, not really too much, but you have your family, you got some money in the bank, and you got food on your table, and you're able to take care of yourself, and you can technically go wherever you want to go. I mean, to me, that's happiness. Because when I wake up, I want to make sure that I'm surrounded with this environment where I don't have to fight for my peace. And not just with other people, but with myself. I don't want to wrestle with my thoughts. I don't want to be at war with myself just to be happy. And I think that people, they don't sit with themselves long enough to understand what their true happiness is, because it conflicts with what they were taught.
Yeah.
With their framework. That what makes me happy goes against my religion.
Yeah.
What makes me happy goes against my mother's love. What makes me happy goes against this image that I built up for myself. There's always something that leads back to this external judgment that we receive for being happy. That's why people love all these big things, because when people see the mansion and the cars and the women and the suits and all these things, it's like, oh yeah, man, they got it.
Yeah,
that makes them happy. So people don't talk as much. They still talk, but not as much, right? They don't judge as much. But when you are able to just simply just do whatever makes you happy, whatever makes your heart full, so you can give the love you want, not only to yourself and to your loved ones, for me, that's happiness. So I do these things because these are just things I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like me being a life coach, graphic designer, social media manager, web designer, I just love doing it. I just love doing it.
Yeah.
But still, throughout that entire process, everything that I do is linked to enriching someone's experience. Period. Whether it's their life, how they talk to themselves, their content that they create for social media, the branding that they have for their own business to reach their clients,
Yeah.
or simply to help them design a website that makes people believe in them, all that is still tied back to enriching the person,
Yeah.
pouring into the person. So I just honestly think that when it comes to social media, it has become this this thing that covers people, that helps them put on a mask,
Mhm.
and now people don't know how to take it off. People don't even know that they have a mask on anymore. Now
Nope.
people don't even know that this isn't really what I want. I really don't want all this attention. I really
Exactly.
just want the attention just from one person, or from my dad, or from my mom, or from my family. Like, and I'm not getting that. So that's why, like, when it comes to me, social media management, I feel that it's important, because if you want me to help you with your social media, then it has to be something that makes sense. I don't just manage somebody that just wants to have attention. No, you have to
Exactly.
have a message, something that gives. So yeah, that's what I feel when it comes to that. Hey, Billy, hold on one second. My screen just went off. 1 second.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because I still while we're waiting on Jonathan to get the screen straight, I wanted to touch on some things that he was saying about the happiness, especially in this today's era with the social media and everything that we have going. I want you to think about this. We focus on so much that we see on social media. We never take into account that if I actually did this certain thing, would I be happy? Like, say you scrolling and you see somebody like, oh, they got all these views because they have cooking on there. If you're not a person that likes to cook, then you obviously can't follow that path. If you see somebody as you're scrolling and you're like, oh my God, they're in movies and they're doing this. If you're not a person that wants to be on the camera and remembering your lines, that's not going to make you happy. And that drives the question, because we see so many people that be like, oh, they were rich, they had all this money, and now all of a sudden they don't want to be here anymore, so they harm themselves, or they just do too many drugs, do certain things. Well, if I had that money, I would be happy. You got to think that person might have got that fame and notoriety, but that might not be aligned with who they are and what they want to do. Like you heard Jonathan say earlier, when he was like, I just used to like to draw cartoons. If he would have blew up and got all grand and went off in life and was making millions and it had nothing to do with any type of graphic design, drawing, or anything, he probably wouldn't be that happy, because he's not doing what's aligned with him. And we see so many people in social media, they're forcing themselves to do things that don't align with who they are. And we watch them. If you look hard enough, you watch them crumble and go crazy with it before our eyes, because everything's on social media. And the first thing we say is, but they got all this money.
Yeah.
Money isn't everybody's happiness. You heard Jonathan say it. Some people, money is their happiness. I'm not knocking them. If it's growing fruit in your backyard, if it's drawing, you can go outside and watch cars for all I care. Whatever makes you happy. Because believe it or not, and I try to tell people all the time, when you're doing the thing that makes you happy, you're going to prosper anyway. You don't have to figure it out. It's going to happen. When you, as Jonathan said, follow and believe in your higher being. When you're doing what you want to do, what you're supposed to do, and it's aligned with your higher being, it's going to prosper anyway. Think about it. We just talked about somebody living out in the country that ain't on TV, ain't on social media, ain't doing all that. They're just growing fruit, or they could have cows. Did you know farming is a multi-million-dollar business? When you're doing what you want to do, it's gonna line up. Think about it. Name the great artists like Da Vinci's. Like, people thought they were crazy as they were painting, but guess what? Their lineage of family is got money now. Why? Because he's just painting and brushing. It's gonna line up when you're doing. I didn't want to get sidetracked, but I wanted to touch on that next thing you're saying, because I want to transition right quick when you said about the happiness with the your developing web development and doing all the design and social media marketing. When you're doing that and you're helping others, because you touched on something earlier that said, do you want it or do you want it? How do you help people understand that they might have a vision, but when it lines up with this is what is need to be done to take your vision? Because we see so many people just say, I want this, and it's like, that's not going to be right for your actual brand or what you're trying to do. How do you get people to understand that your expertise is the way you should be going?
Because my foundation is my life coaching. when I talk to my clients, I speak from the heart. So they can tell me, hey, I want to do this with my business. I want to have this. I want to have this. I want to look like this. It's like, okay, does that represent you, or does this represent something you want to be, or what does this represent? So I don't invest in a business that I do not believe in, because if I don't believe in it, then I can't give you 100%. I'm not going to give you partial work and get paid full price. For some people, that could be a blessing. But me coming from a sales background, you have to sell with integrity. I think somebody said that in the comments, like using the word in integrity. You have to sell with integrity, because when you come back to me and you want more, then it has to be like me, like I know in my heart that I gave you something that was just not even worth it. And that's how it is when it comes to me being a life coach. When I speak to somebody, I'm invested. I'm not going to help somebody that I can't invest in. And it all depends on the person. So when I have my consultations, I make them get vulnerable. You have to be open and authentic, because when I build this brand, this is me, because that's what I did for me. Because when I created a blueprint for In Ritual, it was me. It was my life. Yep. All I could do was use my own experience. And when I did, I was able to really touch people, talk to people, and move in ways that just made absolute sense.
Yep.
And then people were able to say, you know what, man, you a good dude. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I mean, but all right, maybe, you know what I mean? That's cool. Thank you, you know. but you know, honestly, looking back at that now, I see why they were saying that, because I was leading by example. And in times when I didn't think I was leading, I was leading. So so really just what it boils back down to, helping people understand their vision. They have to understand themselves. And the only way that I can help them do that, I just go right back in my bag of being a life coach. I take off the hat, put on a life coach hat. All right, so what does this business mean to you? Why is this important? What is your mission statement? What is your target audience? Why is this important? And then once they start talking about it, they're like, hey, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I know. So let's talk business now, because now you understand this is your vision.
Yeah.
So now we can really build this foundation and really build it up. So I've taken that approach from, of course, my sales background, but also me as a man. It's like wanting people to just invest in you, and wanting people to see you for your worth, not just for the financial aspect.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Not just for what you can give, or what you can provide, or how you provision. Can you just see me? Just as one time where there's no responsibility, there's nothing tied to it, nothing. Just see me. And once you do that, then you can add on all these other things, because these things are the overall result of who I am. These things don't make me that. And my close friend, Nevin, he was telling me that when it comes to providing, none of that is tied to money.
No.
None of that is tied to money.
Nope.
When you provide, it is literally the space that is required for your family to be protected and to have a veil over their head so that they can grow and be fruitful. When it comes to money, that's a result. That's just something that we just have to have in this world.
Yep.
But when it comes to providing, how are you being the leader of your household? Are you providing counsel? Are you providing a nurturing spirit? Are you providing provision? Are you providing protection? Are you providing like all these? Man, we got a full dictionary of this stuff, man. So, so just to go back to the question. So when I'm talking to people, I go back to being a life coach because that's how I can get people to see the truth in whatever they're saying. And sometimes they know already, but most of the time they don't because of what you said. They have social media. They go to social media, and then it's like, oh man, I want to have that. I want to have that.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. Well, maybe if I have that, I'll feel better because I want to be like that. I want to look like him. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I want to have a business like that. But for why? So yeah. I always go back to the foundation of who I am when I'm talking to people, and I've been pretty successful doing that, and people just open up naturally. So.
I'm glad that you said that you've been successful doing that because so many people misconstrue or misunderstand the commitment that it takes. Like I'm really big on commitment is the foundation to success. And even Aaron chimed in and he was saying commitment to your vision. Like people just see their vision and they think they're supposed to go after it, but they don't understand that part of your vision, the way it was designed for you as a person, is you're supposed to be. Your vision has to align some type of way with helping others. And that's part of you, like you said, getting to know yourself. When you get to know yourself, that's when you learn what your purpose in life is. And so when you learn that purpose in life and you go when you get your purpose, then you like Jonathan was saying, like, oh man, that's great. Like you're amazing. People are telling them this, like, how are you able to do this thing? When you're living in your purpose and you're using your purpose for the way it's supposed to be going, what you do comes off easy to yourself, but it's something that others look at you and like, man, I don't know how you do that. That's amazing. That's when you're tapping into your purpose. And when you do that and you stay committed to it, that's when you start achieving your vision. And that's why I like it when you started going down the line of protecting and providing. And I'm like, so many people don't understand that vision because of social media. Again, what we hear, you just hear protect, provide, protect, and provide. And then go straight to the same thing every time. Provide. Do you have the money? Protect. Are you going to fight for me? And I'm like, oh my God, that's not the only way to protect and provide. When you're looking at a man, and I'm going to get this snippet for men since Jonathan tapped on it. When somebody says protect, you as the leader, the man of your household, we're saying protect your family mentally, protect your family emotionally, protect your family not just physically, but also spiritually. Protect your family, making sure they have the nourishment. All these things are forms of protection. When they say provide your family. It doesn't have to be wealth. Provide them with opportunities. I have kids. I have to provide them with opportunities to better their lives because I don't want them to be the same as me. I want them to be better than me. So I have to provide them with the opportunity. I have to provide my wife not just with safety, but I have to provide her with reassurance to know that I have her back because they said it. We said it earlier. Behind every great man is a great woman. I'm sorry, these women, men, they need our support too. So the way you do that is you provide support. You provide that kind of security. It doesn't have to be financial all the time. And we get wrapped up in so many things. If your woman has a great idea, don't just provide the support. Provide all the means you need. I can remember one time my wife, we started a daycare. She was like, hey, we need to build this. I'm outside looking like the handyman. I never built a deck in my life, but I'm out there with hammering nails because that's what she needed. And I need people to understand it doesn't have to be financially, and it doesn't mean fighting. You need to know the difference between providing and protecting. And if you don't know how to get deeper in this definition, thank goodness we got Jonathan here, and I won't even let him go before I even do this. People that need to be enriched with their spiritual selves and learn how to provide and protect. If you go any further, can you tell them how to contact you?
Yes. So you can follow me on all social media. Wow, boy. You can find me on all social media platforms. Enritual, ENRITUAL. And on Instagram, it's the same way, ENRITUAL_. So that's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And my website is enritual.org. So you can always go to my website to just kind of, to get a better understanding of this is what I do too. But I want to get back to what you were saying too, Billy. You're saying there was a snippet for men. one of the things that I have learned just from my experience, and I'm just one being on this earth that's been around for millions of years, but I have learned that one of the main reasons why there are men that aren't able to do these things that we are talking about is, of course, they weren't taught. We all know that.
Yep.
Also, too, they aren't able to give it to themselves.
Ooh.
I cannot provide protection for me when it comes to my feelings.
Yep.
I cannot provide an opportunity for myself because of finances. I cannot provide the life that I want to live because I don't have the audacity to do that. I don't know how to do that. So these things, like, we're only able to give what we have.
Yep.
And if we don't have it, then we can't give it. So there are a lot of men that can't give it.
Yep.
But also, too, there are men that are trying to give these things in the wrong environments,
Whew.
to the wrong people, to the wrong women. Okay. And that's just life. That's not me bashing either side. It is what it is. We all know that certain men have their certain preference.
Yeah.
And by that, you are giving your all of your being to a woman that don't want you. He wants what you have, but not what you can truly give. Like,
Yes.
truly from your being, your heart. You feel me? Like, she can't hold that space for you. Now, that's one of the men that I speak to, understanding that you have to know your value. And this, once again, not bashing women. You have to know your value as a man before you say that, hey, this is exactly what I want.
Yep.
Because if you don't know who you are as a person, then you can't truly say in all cases, yep, I want her. This is what I want. Now, sometimes when you're on your journey and you're finding yourself and you're looking and you're searching, you'll find a woman. And she is exactly what you want. And I can say that happened to me. I was on my journey. I come across her. Yep, this is exactly what I want. I'm gonna keep her. But not all men have that opportunity, and not all men have that capability. So understanding what you can provide for self allows you to understand what you can give to others. And once you learn that, then you can navigate situations flawlessly with the utmost confidence and know that nothing can touch me.
Yeah.
Nothing can move me in the way that I shouldn't be moved. Nothing can persuade me off of my pedestal of my masculine energy, so I can truly just be like. And me learning these things and then learning how to apply them and then actually seeing the results in real time. Wow. I mean, it's just mind blowing. It's crazy. And this is the kicker. Once you start applying these things and you start, you see these things working and you're getting these results, don't stop and celebrate.
No.
Stop and just watch it and be like, you know what? Yeah, man, this is it. Nope. Keep going. Because it's just a part of the process.
Yep.
It's a part of the growth. It's a part of the journey. It's just a checkpoint. It's something that you can come back to mentally, but you can't go back physically because you aren't stopping. Even if you feel like you're stopping, even if you feel like you aren't going anywhere, if you feel like you're just walking in quicksand, you're still moving forward, no matter what you're doing. I now do not believe in steps back.
No.
Because I can't go in the past.
No.
If you have a person that was an alcoholic, and this person, they were sober for 6 months and they slip up.
Okay.
This person didn't step back because the person that had that relapse wasn't the same person that you were 6 months ago.
Exactly.
You are still dealing with a situation, but overall, you are honestly a different person. You will never be that same person again. So I try to help people understand that once you understand what you are capable of giving to yourself, then you can give to somebody else, especially a woman, because she's going to test you. And that's what women, honestly, I feel that that's what women are supposed to do. Women test us in ways that we can't test ourselves.
Yep.
Women push us in ways that we cannot push ourselves. And a strong man or a good man will understand this and not get all bent out of shape when a woman questions him. He also has to understand that this is a part of the process, but you still have to, you still have to provide that. You still have to, excuse me, you still have to provide that solution. She's asking for a solution.
Yeah.
Once you provide it, keep it moving. Because that's all she wants. And that's all you can really do. So once you provide that level of safety and security, she'll start, it's like it'll be less questions that are asked because she just has to question your judgment anymore. Really, at this point in time, she's just now just believing in your leadership. She's following your leadership. And one last thing, men also have to provide a listening ear. Just like how you said that your wife wanted to start a daycare. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. I have no idea what is happening. But you know what? She says that she needs this, she needs that. You provided her the space to give some type of instruction, and you listen. And you're like, you know what? This is what she needs. I'm gonna do it. I'm a pound away. I'm gonna build this. I'm gonna build that. So being understand not only when to talk, but also when to listen helps you move in a way that is fruitful. So
before we even go, because it's 2 points you hit on that I want to make sure everybody truly understands. That first one being that value of knowing your value. Because I say this because I'm one of those people. I study people, so I read comments, I watch what people say in TV shows, podcasts, whatever. You got to know your value, and I mean your true value, not the delusional value that you made up in your head. Because so many people in today's world have put themselves on a pedestal and put their value at a certain level that is not there.
Yeah.
And so when you're asking why I'm not getting what I'm giving out, that's because what you think you're doing is not according to who you are. So you have to know yourself so that your value is on plane with what you're asking. Like you just said about that listening ear. Men are quick to say, I'm the lead, follow this, that, and that. But you haven't learned yourself how to listen. You haven't learned yourself how to speak. You haven't learned yourself how to control your emotions. If you haven't done that work within yourself, how do you expect the same value out of your woman? You still need to fix that within yourself. So I want to make sure people understand what Jonathan was saying about this value. You have to understand your true value, not your delusional value that you made up in your head. And another part of that you were saying about you don't get to this point and be like, oh, I'm in success, I'm doing great. I want everybody to understand there are always little wins inside of the big win. Your level of success, you're going to hit little notches of wins along the way. Think about it this way. Trying to graduate high school, you didn't just go to kindergarten and skip the 12th grade. You had to go to first, second, third, all the way up through middle school, all the way to high school. And then you got to 12th grade and you graduated. The problem with it is so many men have got that diploma and they thought that was the big win and they started celebrating. So they didn't keep obtaining knowledge throughout life. So they're still a grown man operating on an 18-year-old's mindset. Because you stopped at the small win instead of continue to grow and elevate till you got to the big win. And that's the problem so many young men are having, that they just stop evolving once they got that first win and got that diploma and the knowledge isn't continuing to grow. It don't have to go to college, but you have to continue to learn, not just the world, but especially yourself. Because the 42-year-old Billy Graham, if I can go talk to the 18-year-old Billy Graham, we have a lot to discuss because I know a lot that he did not know. But so many people are still operating as 40-something. We see them all the time. Grown men operating as though they're kids, still living in glory days. But that's a whole nother conversation. But now, before I even get to this next part, because I have to do this to everybody. Before I even let you go, can you give us, because we talked a lot about enriching yourself, how to be a better man, be a support system, be a better provider, protector, going after the things you want in life and aligning yourself with your purpose and with your higher being. We talked about all that. So to that man or a young woman out there that is listening to you right now, what would be that piece of advice that you would give them to help them tap into their inner self so that they can start working on it to be better people?
I would tell them to stay a dreamer. Real men are dreamers. Real men envision the future and plan ahead and move in that direction. You can't just live life by simply following in the habit of going with the flow. Some things you can do that, but you have to be a dreamer. You have to always dream, because if you don't have a dream, then you can't tap into your purpose. And if you can't tap into your purpose, then you don't add the value that you can truly add. Perspective propels purpose. How you view yourself and how you view the world that you interact with is going to shape, determine, and move your purpose in its own direction.
Wow.
Talking to the 14-year-old, the 18-year-old, if I could go back and talk to them, I would tell them that. I would tell myself that. Wow. Because I knew that there was something in my life that I was supposed to do. But I didn't walk in purpose. But I'm doing that now. So
wow. Well, I'm not even gonna touch that. In order to walk in your purpose, continue to dream. Yeah, I'm not even gonna mess with that one. That one right there, that's the nugget to leave on, man. Like, I can't touch that. You dropped so many tonight and you gave us so much information. All I can say is on behalf of everybody that's tuned in, everybody that's gonna listen to this later, just the people that had the opportunity to get this information out of you, I just gotta say on behalf of all of us, thank you, because man, you dropped some nuggets for us tonight, and you gave us a lot of stuff that we can reflect on. Like, like even Aaron saying, like he got to connect after the show. I'm telling you, like you gave us so much to think about and so much to work on to take that first step of bettering ourselves. So again, on behalf of everybody, man, thank you for taking the time to even come speak with us, man. We appreciate you, brother. Giving you your flowers right now.
Thank you, brother.
Now, I don't want you to go anywhere because I got something I want to talk to you about after the show. But everybody, don't worry. All of Jonathan's information, I will make sure I get it into the description on the YouTube. Strategic Dope. If you're not following, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. But I will get all that information to everybody. But again, Jonathan, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. But until next time, I'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Man, I don't know if y'all got all the information I got. I hope y'all got those jewels, those nuggets. Jonathan taught us how to take this first step of enriching ourselves, looking at our habits. How can we do and what do we need to do to be better every day? How to be better men. He even tapped into that, like knowing your purpose, finding your value, understanding your goals in life. And most of all, that last nugget he dropped about being a dreamer. Stay a dreamer. Because, hey, even Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. But you know the crazy thing about it? So do you. You have a dream as well, but you can only obtain that dream when you live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. Again, I thank everybody for tuning in. I can't wait to see you next week when we have our next amazing guest. Make sure you tune in every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. But until then, make sure you continue to live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next week.
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, life. It's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchanged something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on.